Hi guys, it's me, Mario. Today we're going to continue Sting, the Scorpion Man. How you guys doing today? Hope you're doing well. Chapter 5, The Gatekeeper. Cheers. Chapter 5, The Gatekeeper. As they approached the gates, Tom felt all his senses sharpening. He glanced around. From the moment he and Elena had arrived in Gorgonia, Melville had put a price on their heads. Who knew how many bounty hunters were waiting among the rocks ready to capture or kill them? The closer they got to the city, the greater the danger became. They won't catch us, Tom thought fiercely. We'll fight to the death if we have to. The great red city loomed up in front of them. Its defensive walls towered overhead and were streaked with slime. Skulls were set into the brickwork, and evil-looking spikes lined the top of the walls, their tips glinting in the red sun. The city's huge black gates were firmly closed, but there was no sign of any guards. Silver growled uncertainly as Tom and Elennas stopped in front of the silent gates, and Storm pawed the ground anxiously. Tom dismounted and gazed around. Why are there no guards? He asked. Perhaps it's a trap? Helena replied uneasily. Here's the gate. There was a sudden movement from behind one of the trees that flanked the gates. A thin man in old brown robes, wearing a tattered eye patch and holding a walking stick, stepped out to stand before them. Tom recognized him at once. Kerlo, he said. Hello, Kerlo replied. If you wish it, I will let you into the city. Tom wasn't sure that he trusted Kerlo, even though the Gorgonian gatekeeper had helped them more than once. Instinctively, his hand went to his sword. Elena, too, held her bow and arrow at the ready. Kerlo shook his head sadly. Still so suspicious of me, Tom, he muttered. Have I not been an ally on your quest? Have I not aided you? But why do you help us? Tom challenged. What's in it for you? Kerlo rested his weight on the long wooden stick that he held in his gnarled hands. I was once a good wizard too, you know, he said quietly. I tried to help the rebels in their fight against Malvale. But the Dark Wizard's magic was more powerful than I had ever imagined. He condemned me to spend an eternity as gatekeeper between worlds. His face grew bleak. I have not been able to cross the threshold in many years. I cannot even enter my family's home. The gatekeeper fell silent for a moment. You must understand. Home is like a jewel, and it is only once it has gone that you realize how precious it is. We thank you for all you have done, Kerlo, Elennas said. Will you help us get into the western city? Kerlo nodded. Once inside, you must head to Melville's castle, he said. Ugh, ad. Yep. Once inside, you must head to Melville's castle, he said. In the castle's courtyard, you will find a trapdoor which leads to the cemetery that lies beneath the city. Those catacombs might be just the place to hide a giant beast. Kerlo held his hands out towards the gates. With a crash that shook the ground, the huge iron doors swung open. As they walked through them, Tom saw that the entrance to the city was set out as a series of 3 paths, just like the beginning of a maze. There were 3 possible routes into the city, but how could they be sure that they would choose the right one? And what would happen if they were wrong? Here are the 3 paths. The first, second, and third. That is chapter 5. The Gatekeeper. Well, that was a short chapter. Whenever I read short chapters, I'm thinking of reading 2 chapters, but then again, the one after it is always longer than the shorter one, so I'm not going to. But yeah. That was chapter 5, The Gatekeeper. Well, I hope you like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you guys are interested in more Beast Quest videos. Because I kind of enjoy making them. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, you know? I'm kind of mumbling right now to make this video longer a little bit. Since this is only 8 minutes long, so. Sorry about that. Bye-bye. See you guys in the next video. This thing is not working. Bye-bye.